Coming up on this edition of Flashtalk, we'll sit down with head ball coach Kenni Burns to talk about the trip out to Neyland Stadium and wrapping up the non-conference at Penn State this Saturday. Rob Marinaro stops by to talk about the start of league play and the MAC home opener this Sunday. We take a look at 50 years of field hockey that was celebrated last weekend at Murphy-Mellis Field, and volleyball has their home opener. So Haley Eckerman will stop on by to talk a little bit about their non-conference season to date. As always, we'll take a look at the busy week ahead in Kent State athletics, and that's all coming up in a flash. Welcome into our Flash Talk studios. Dan Griffin alongside head ball coach Kenni Burns, and putting to bed at Tennessee and wrapping up non-conference with Penn State. So, Coach, when you go back and look at the film, a lot to learn from, but also a lot of positives as well you can take away from the trip to Neyland Stadium. Yeah,
first of all, what a team. Tennessee is a heck of a football team and a team that will compete for a national championship, in my opinion. And, what do we get for it? We get to go play another team that can compete for a national championship. But total credit to Coach Heupel and what he's building there. A tremendous amount of talent, but then how hard they play was impressive too. And I thought our guys played hard for sure, but there's ways we can put them in better situations as coaches from an execution standpoint in what we're doing. But we're excited about the next challenge we have, and we got to get some guys healthy as we get into league play, but really excited to finish off non-conference play heading to Penn State.
Start with under center and J.D. Sherrod, who came out and really showcased what the excitement can be surrounding him, and that man can hit a corner and lose a lot of people up the sideline.
Yeah, he's got talent with his feet for sure, and he's someone I think you saw a glimpse of the future with him. He'll be our starting quarterback someday. He's got a ton of ability. He's learning the system as he goes, but I know our guys love watching him play, and I think, again, you saw a little bit of his ability.
For all four quarters, especially in that second half, it was a resilient effort.
Yeah, it's good to see K. Wolford out there. I think he's got a bright future. He's another young kid, but they're everywhere. We've got some that are in the 2 deep, some that are starting for us, but they're playing, a lot of freshmen and sophomore. And Cade's one of them. Jaden Studio did a great job. I thought he played one of his best games. I think you can see him starting to come into form. He started now 2 games in a row. I think Nyland Brown went in there, did a good job when number was called.
That's a nice little basically trial run you get to see where these guys kind of fit in and where their development is early on in their collegiate careers.
Yeah, when I got this job, I made a choice, and right, wrong, or indifferent was the choice that I made that I believe in, and the administration believed in it too and still do. And but it was a choice to play guys that could develop in our system. I don't believe that the transfer portal is what's it for Kent State. I think that you want to get freshmen in here, let them develop, let them grow, let them go through the cycle of this developmental program. And then with the guys that were on our roster already, there wasn't a lot of guys that played. There was a lot of guys that were inexperienced, and I believe that they were talented enough if we could develop them in a weight system and in our systems that they could be, there to win championships someday.
Another chance, like you said, against a top 10 team and another probably 6-figure fan environment. So at least you've gotten that first one out of the way. But what poses as some of the biggest challenges when you go to Happy Valley?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is when you're playing a team like Penn State or Tennessee, they're not going to have many weaknesses. When I was at Minnesota, we saw the same thing. There's not someone on defense that you can go expose. There's not. They're sound, they're disciplined, they're gap sound, and then they're talented. So now you're really having a tough time finding how to go and expose anything they've got there. And then on the other side of it, from the standpoint of the offense, there's 2 running backs that are extremely talented and gifted players. There's a really good quarterback. So again, same thing. There's not many weaknesses there. So you've really got to be smart with how you're putting your guys in situations to be successful. I thought Bowling Green did a great job of finding different schemes that created issues for them from a structural standpoint. Now, again, Penn State sometimes out-talented them, and that is what it is, but they gave themselves a chance in the fourth quarter to win the game.
And that's all you can ask for in these games is that puncher's chance in the fourth quarter to be in the ball game. And you've got kind of that Rocky mentality. They're the ones that have all the pressure on it. You can be out there and doing your thing and really kind of continue to have that puncher's chance and put that pressure all on them to hold serve it on their home field.
Yeah, we've lived it. We were there with St. Francis on the other side of it, where we were the team that was favored, and all of a sudden we kept feeling like, okay, we'll figure this out eventually. And then now you're in the fourth quarter, and it's like, okay, now you better figure it out. And now you're on the rope, and then one bad play happens, and now you put yourself in a really scary situation. So how do we flip that to be in our benefit is the thing this week, to maybe get them in the fourth quarter and put them on their heels a little bit.
Kickoff gets started shortly after 3:30. It will be seen on the Big Ten Network and, of course, on our Kent State radio network. But we want you out at Beaver Stadium. Only about a 3-hour drive down the I-80 Pennsylvania Turnpike. So let's turn the blue and white into our blue and gold.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate all the support, and go Flashes. Can't grip.
Welcome into our Flash Talk studios. Dan Griffin alongside Head Coach Rob Marinaro, talking a little bit about the beautiful game as you guys wrap up non-conference play at 3-2-1 and 1 no contest against where you were right there with James Madison. But coming off arguably your toughest test, at least ranked-wise, going against a Wildcat squad down in Lexington. And you put a scare into Kentucky when they score in the first 5-6 minutes of play. It's easy to get down, but you guys rallied and had opportunities to pop them right back.
Yeah, I mean, we got a set piece where Sienna serves a ball in. Ava does a great job getting on the end of it, and then Kelsey Salopek following up. That put us at 1-1, and obviously we gained some momentum off that, and carried probably the next 15, 20 minutes where we were in the game back and forth. It was a lot of fun, and it just showed our young ladies that they're capable of playing at a really high level. So hopefully we can continue to build off that and take that into conference play.
I guess 6.5, 7 matches, however you want to look at it. What have you learned, and what has the team learned most about themselves as we turn our calendar and attention to league play?
I think we learned a lot from the standpoint of we're a quality unit. We can create opportunities, but it's all about, and it always has been, it's something that I preach on a consistent basis. It's about the 90-minute competition, and especially in conference, it's all on the 90 minutes. It's that day and who's competing the best and who plays the best and who capitalizes, obviously. But, so that's what we've taken in. As much as we preach it, they definitely learned it within those games.
You want to control the momentum and the attack as much as possible, because the more chances obviously you give yourselves, the greater the odds you're going to have of finishing. And we've seen it all too well in league play, to where a couple bounces and a couple finishes, and you could be looking at a first round bye, or you could be on your couch watching the semifinals.
Sports, right? Exactly. It's something that we preach in every single day, and they're starting to understand it. They're trying to play it. We've become a quicker team. We play a lot faster. So, we just need to continue doing that for 90 minutes.
Take the short trip on Thursday evening up to Toledo in the Glass City to open up on the road. And then for the first time, it seems like in forever, you'll be at Zeller Field inside of Dick Stadium as Ball State comes a calling on a Sunday afternoon. And we talked about this the last time you were on the show. You kind of balanced those non-conference games, especially late, try to give your squad 2 games in a week to kind of learn how this pace is going to feel like, because those legs can be heavy come Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, you throw travel in, you play games, and that's not necessarily exactly why we set up the schedule the way we did, but you can get on a bus, you can stay night, whatever it needs, you need to get the job done. And I think we've done a real nice job with that. I think we've competed really well, and but it steps up a notch now that you're getting into conference play.
Well, as you kind of scout Toledo and Ball State, what kind of jumps out off the page with each of those sides, as, like you said, those points or those results mean that much more?
Yeah, they compete, and it's kind of the MAC mentality. It's, we're kind of blue-collared, hardworking teams, and, you got to be, and we always talk about making sure that you're the aggressor in the game, and we got to play strong and we got to play fast. But then you got to be really composed about finishing opportunities, not creating opportunities for themselves, which, we've done a little bit in these last few games. And, can we clean up some of those mistakes and then, again, force them to make errors that we can capitalize on?
And it's going to come down to whether it's scheme or more likely execution is really going to be the end result in these games. And like you said, that's going to be the gauntlet that is conference play.
We can't wait. I mean, the group is ready to go, and it starts on the road, but Toledo's a real good program, and competition's on. So let's go.
Now, does the message change either from the coaching staff or from kind of that inner circle of leaders when it turns to the conference play? Or again, you're trying to go 1-0 in Toledo, you're trying to go 1-0 against Kentucky. It doesn't matter. That mentality of that 90 minutes, that finish always stays the same.
I mean, the approach we're kind of taking right now is it's always about us, right? We win and we lose games. So we're throwing the opponent aside as far as like who it actually is, and seeing what we can do within the 90 minutes to truly compete and give ourselves the best opportunity for results.
Well, it all gets started on Thursday. Come out and cheer on our Flashes against Ball State on Sunday afternoon. Coach Marinaro, best of luck as we turn our attention to that second season.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Field hockey means a lot of different things to me. Over the course of the years, it's also changed. When I was an athlete, middle school and high school player, I loved being competitive. I loved getting to just get my energy out and compete. I think it was also a way for me to connect with my mom, who was my coach at the time. And then I think as I began to progress into college and now coaching, field hockey has become an avenue for me to actually impact lives and impact people. And so, yeah, the sport itself is amazing. I love it. I love every bit of it. But just the chance to, whether that was in college, impact my teammates, or whether now as a coach getting to impact these 18 to 22-year-old women and really just help them enter the next stage of their lives.
Field hockey means so much to me. I've played since I was in 3rd grade, and ever since I started, it's always been an outlet and a safe space for me. I would say that the thing that are probably the most important to me would be the friendships and the relationships that I've created through the sport.
Field hockey is more than just a sport to me. It has shown me so many life lessons along the way, and I've met so many great individuals from being here at Kent and throughout my life playing field hockey.
Being a part of the Kent State field hockey team has been a dream come true. I feel so lucky and blessed to be able to compete at this level while also being surrounded by so many other strong and supportive women. This team has a family aspect to it that I would say no other team has, and I just feel so blessed to be a part of it.
Being a part of Kent State field hockey has truly been a blessing. The people that I have met and the experiences that I've had are truly one of a kind. Especially now with having Coach Lizzie and Coach Heather join us, it's truly a blessing, and I'm so excited to see what Team 50 will accomplish this year.
It has been so special. I know it's only been a few months, but I love every part of being here. The squad is incredible, and then the history of the program is just so rich, right? I know that there's so many people that have come through Kent State that have paved the way and the legacy for us to be where we are today competing. And yeah, it's super special.
I feel like 50 years of field hockey at Kent State is a monumental mile marker for our program. All I can say is thank you to all the women that continued to compete despite not getting the recognition that they deserved. Without them, our program would be non-existent, and every day we play for them.
50 years of Kent State field hockey means so much to me, and I'm truly honored to be a part of this legacy. Our mission statement is honor the past, serve the present, and inspire the future. And to be able to come out here on this field every day and put that jersey on and being able to honor the past really does mean so much to me.
50 years of field hockey is an incredible milestone. I think back, I know it goes even further than that from the athletes that competed before it was recognized as a varsity sport. But then even since it has been, every single person that's come through, that's worn the jersey, that has laid, their heart out on this field, this pitch, it's really special. Our mission statement, right, is to honor the past, serve the present, and inspire the future. And so getting to honor the past this weekend and just in general is really, really special because there's been so many people who have an impact here.
To the next 50 years of athletes, I would say to try to be present in the moment and take nothing for granted. Even through the hard times, try to be present and be focused where your feet are. The people that you will meet and the experiences that you will have, you will hold dearly in your heart for life.
To the next 50 years of athletes, take it one day at a time, right? Every single day, look to get 1% better. Don't think so far ahead. If you're in high school, don't be thinking about the end of college. If you're in middle school, don't be thinking about the end of high school, right? Take it one day at a time, get 1% better each and every day. Enjoy the moment, right? The only moment that you're in, that's the only moment that you're guaranteed. So continue to work hard, push boundaries, and make this sport even more successful than it has been, to continue to allow it to be exposed on television, in your schools, everywhere that you go.
I would tell the next 50 years of Kent State field hockey players to never forget why you fell in love with the game in the first place. Coach Heather, for example, always tells us to play for something bigger, and that's something that we look to do every day. There are so many girls that would do anything to be in our position, so just be grateful to be here and to represent Kent State and cherish the moments that you have with your team.
Just want to thank all of the people that have come before us, right, prior to 2024, wherever you were in the journey, whatever you gave. We are so grateful and so thankful for every single one of you that have come through this program.
Let's take a look at the busy week ahead in Kent State athletics. As always, we're brought to you by ksutix.com. Our busy week gets started on Thursday evening with our volleyball team and their home opener against Cleveland State. First serve is set for 6 p.m., and it's a tumbler giveaway. Women's Soccer opens league play, taking the trip to Toledo to take on the Rockets. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff from the Glass City. On Friday, field hockey opens up its conference with Ball State. That's a 2 p.m. first draw and Fan Appreciation Day at Murphy-Mellis Field. Volleyball is on the road, taking the short trek down I-76 East to take on YSU. That's a 6 p.m. first serve. On Saturday, our football team wraps up its non-conference play at Penn State, a 3:30 kickoff from Beaver Stadium. And on Sunday, our weekend wraps with our women's soccer team and their MAC home opener. The Ball State Cardinals are in town for a 1 p.m. kickoff. It's Kicking It with Kent State and International Day. For the latest news and notes about your favorite teams, visit us on your favorite social media platform at Kent State Athletics or on the web at kentstatesports.com. More Flash Talk coming up right after this. Welcome back into our Flash Talk studios. Talk a little volleyball with Haley Eckerman, our head ball coach, and wrapping up non-conference. It doesn't seem real, but you guys are back at home in the friendly confines of the MAC Center here this week. So happy home opener.
Really excited to just get to be in front of our crowd. Obviously, the last time was just our blue and gold scrimmage. So getting to play somebody else and allow our crowd to really see our team as a whole.
Well, you guys play Cleveland State on Thursday night. We were giving away that really cool tumbler to for the student crowd, as well as if you want to order season tickets, you get that as well. But Cleveland State comes in at 6 o'clock, and then on Friday you take the short trip over to Y-Town. So you're wrapping up non-conference against the Horizon League and two local opponents, which has to be really cool.
It just allows our kids to kind of start to get in some sort of a routine. When we play these other tournaments for non-conference, we're on the road, we're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're leaving Thursday. So this is kind of the start of our routine kind of going into conference. And that's why us, School Down the Road, Youngstown and Cleveland State wanted to do this tournament the last weekend every time, just to prepare us we don't have crazy travel going into that weekend of conference. And so it's really cool to be able to play in that.
You guys are coming off a in-state trip down to take on X and Cincinnati, and we were talking a little bit before we started filming. You're giving these Power 5 schools a run for their money, taking them either into extra points or whatever you want to call it, or deep into the race for 25, and that's got to give you some confidence in going, we're right here. We need to finish.
Yeah, that's really been our focus. Playing for 25 points straight. I was talking with our coaches. We either play the first 15 or we play the last 15. And usually when it's the last 15, we're down and we're battling back. And it's like, hey, we have to play for 25 straight. So really we were able to see a lot these last couple weeks. And it's okay in a sense of like we still have time to make the change and to grow. And it's probably a good thing that we're where we're at in these positions. And that's why we set the conference or the non-conference up the way we do to challenge us. And so it's like, hey, taking that loss, yeah, it sucks, but what did we learn from it and kind of going forward?
Which kind of jumped down going, if we were able to do this, we're never going to be in that kind of position.
Yeah, we've been, especially as staff, we've been trying to figure out what it is that makes that change. We'll be up huge against a team, and it's almost like we are afraid to win. And I think part of that comes from having so many people from different programs, and maybe not having the success in the past. So really, just trying to get them to understand if we can do this consistently for 25 points. And a set after a set after a set, then we're going to be tough to battle. And I think too, we were seeded to finish last in the conference, and kind of telling them like, that's okay. That puts the pressure on everybody else.
As the non-conference has gone on, have you seen this team kind of gel and coalesce a little bit better because of all that time rack up the miles and hotel points?
Yeah, I think we change hotel roommates each week. We change who rides in whose van, if we take a van, or who's sitting next to who on the bus. And I think this is a group that we have a good group that they like each other. We're working on now the accountability piece. It's okay to like each other, but still hold people accountable. And so really trying to find that balance of how do you teach 18 to 22-year-olds it's okay to, have the tough conversations and still go be friends after.
Who's been kind of those voices on the bus or in the locker room?
I think Tylee Fuller has been really kind of the person of, hey, I'm tired of having this conversation. Let's go win. Karina's kind of stepped into that role. And it's funny because, we're redshirting Ava, and I think Ava is a kid that just brings light to the team. And so she has helped in a way of just kind of keeping it fun and bubbly.
Like you said, she's a raw player that's only going to get better and better. Sky's the limit for her. Seeing this game from the sideline almost as another assistant has got to be great.
Sometimes I'm like, maybe if I was a 20-year-old, it may click in their heads a little bit better. So that helps too. And I think that's kind of the biggest piece with our kids is each kid can kind of come to a certain coach and ask about a certain thing and be able to relay it back to the team better.
Again, on Thursday night, I believe it's a 6 p.m. first serve, and then you're at Y-Town on Friday. So a couple of opportunities locally to come see us play before conference play gets off and running. And, Coach, best of luck against the local Horizon League, and let's get some momentum going into conference play.
Yes, thank you.
That's going to do it for this edition of Flash Talk. Join us again next week when we take a deep dive into the wonderful world of Kent State athletics. For all of us here inside the GFTV studios, this is Dan Griffin saying goodnight and go Flashes.